Good morning, students. In 2 minutes, I will start with the lecture because very less number of students are there. Okay, so we will start now. Okay, so good morning, one and all. So today we are going to start with our fourth unit. Let me share my screen now. Okay, so this particular unit is from the second section. Total in all we are having 6 units. So definitely 3 units will be there for the section 1 and remaining 3 will be there for section 2nd. So we are done with first 3 units. So we are done with section 1. Now we are starting with our section number 2 with fourth unit, that is overview of cloud security. Okay, so for this lecture I will continue for 1 hour because we are yet to complete our fourth unit class test, isn't it? So for 1 hour I will take lecture, and then for the next 1 hour you will be having our class test on topic number 3. Fine. So let us start with this particular unit for now. So in this unit, we are going to cover the bits like explain the security concerns in traditional IT. Okay, information technology. That means whatever the security concerns are there, what type of security is required for our overall system, our network, whatever the applications that we are having. So that part we are going to cover in this. Now, then introduce challenges in cloud computing in terms of application security, server security, and network security. So what are the different challenges present in case of a cloud computing from the application point of view, from the server security point of view, and network security point of view that we are going to cover. Then security reference model is there. So that study overall details of that particular reference model will be there. Then abuse and nefarious use of cloud computing, how we can convert the cloud computing usage into abuse and nefarious kind of a things. Then insecure interfaces and APIs, then malicious insiders, shared technology issues, data loss or leakage, account or service hijacking, then unknown risk profile, then shared security model between vendors and the customer in IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS that we are going to see. Okay. So these particular bits from the security point of view, we are going to cover. Just 1 second. One student is asking for ID and password. Just 1 minute, give 1 minute for So these bits are there in this unit overview of cloud security. Then coming towards the next part, that is nothing but the okay. So about title of the chapter. So as we know, overview of cloud security. So cloud computing and all the details we already have seen from the first unit itself. But what is cloud security? That means how we are going to secure our data, which is there on the cloud platform. So that part we are going to cover in this. So whatever the security concerns are there related to cloud data, that study will be there in this particular unit. About central idea of the chapter, that will be the same. That means we are going to cover up all the details related to the cloud data security over here. So no matter that means from all the concerns, that is whatever the applications that are provided from this cloud based platform, then whatever the servers provided for the data replication or that kind of a things, that means how you are going to save your data. So from that server, how you are going to provide the server security itself, and also definitely the network security. So at the time of data transfer, any kind of a leakage is there, any kind of a hijacking is there. So that part of this security that we are going to cover here. So that's why whatever the security concerns that are there, that all will be covered in this unit. So that is why the study of this chapter, that is overview of cloud security, is very, very essential. And finally, the chapter outcome. So here at the end of this chapter, students will be able to the fourth course outcome, that is determine the technological implications for selecting a cloud computing platform. Okay, so that will be covered in after study of this particular unit. Okay. So coming towards the next. So the first bit is nothing but the security concerns in traditional IT. So traditional IT. Recording in progress. Traditional IT is what? The traditional information technology. That means whatever we were looking into. So that part was there in traditional IT. So what type of concerns were there till now here in case of a traditional IT? So that we are going to cover here. That means if we go into the details of it, so they are like physical security, logical security, behavioral security, special security considerations for e-commerce, privacy considerations for e-commerce. So that part is there from the security point of view. Okay, so security of computer facilities, then again your stored data and the information generated is the part of successful conversion, we can say. So the recognition of the need for the security is a natural outgrowth of the belief that information is a key organizational resource, which was discussed till now. So with increasingly complex transaction and many innovative exchanges, the web has highlighted the security concerns to the IT professionals in the world. So it is useful to think of the security of the system, then the data, information on an imaginary continuum from totally secure to the totally open. So although there is no such thing as a totally secure system till now, so the actions, analysts and the users take care the means to move the system towards the secure and end of the continuum by lessening the system's vulnerabilities. So it should be noted that as more people in the organizations gain greater computer power, gain access to the web, or connect to the intranets and extranets, security becomes increasingly difficult and complex. So sometimes the organizations will hire a security consultants to work with the system analyst when security is crucial to the successful operations. So security is the responsibility of all those who come into the contact with the system and is only as good as the most lax behavior or policy in the organization. So security has three interrelated aspects, that is nothing but the physical, logical, and behavioral. So all these three must work together if the quality of the security is to be remain high. So what is the physical security that we are going to see now? So physical security, it refers to the securing the computer facility, its equipment and software through the physical means. So it can include controlling access to the computer room by means of machine readable badges, biometric systems, or a human sign-in sign-out system, as well as using closed circuit television cameras to monitor computer areas, backing up the data frequently, and storing the backups in the fireproof, waterproof area, often at a secure off-station location. Okay, so this type of a security is from the physical front, isn't it? That means providing proper machine readable badges, then biometric system to enter into your server room, proper human sign in sign out will be there. So that part of security will be coming under physical security. So in addition to that, small computer equipment should be secured so that a typical user cannot move it. So, and it should be guaranteed uninterrupted power supply. So if the interrupted power supply is there, then proper backup for the electricity, backup UPS or that kind of a system should be provided. So alarms should also be provided that will notify the appropriate people of fire, flood, or any unauthorized human interaction must be in working order at all the times. So any kind of this kind of intervention comes, the alarm will give the sign that something has happened. So decisions about physical security should be made along with the users when the analysts is planning for computer facilities and equipment purchases. So obviously, physical security can be much tighter if anticipated in advance of actual installation, and if computer rooms are specially equipped for security when they are constructed rather than outfitted as an afterthought. Then next is the logical security. Okay, so logical security, it refers to the logical controls in the software itself. The logical controls are familiar to most of the users with their passwords or authorization codes of some sort. That means maybe you are having QR code, your fingerprint scanner, eye scanner or whatever. So when used, they permit the user with correct password to enter the system or a particular part of the database itself. Then passwords, however, are treated in many organizations. So employees have been overheard yelling a password across the crowded offices, tapping password to their display screens, and sharing personal password with authorized employees who have forgotten their own. So special encryption software has been developed to protect the commercial transaction on the web, and business transactions are uh, like proliferating. Internet frauds is also up sharply. However, with few authorities trained in catching the internet criminals and a wild west or last frontier mentally clearly evidence. In those instances when authorities have been able to apprehend web criminals. So one way for networks to cut down on the risk of exposure to the security challenges from the outside world is to build a firewall or a firewall system. A firewall constructs a barricade between an internal organization network and the external or internetwork such as the internet. So the internal network is assumed to be trustworthy and secure, whereas the internet is not. So firewalls are intended to provide communication into or out of the network that has not been authorized and that is not wanted. So a firewall system is not a perfect remedy for organizational and internet security. It is, however, an additional level of security or the layer of security that is now widely endorsed. So there is still no fully integrated way to address the security problems with internal and external networks, but they do deserve analysts' attention when planning any new and improved system. So logical and physical controls are important, but clearly not enough to provide the adequate security. So behavioral changes are also necessary in this. Then behavioral security. So what does it mean? Some kind of a new terminology come into the picture. So the behavioral expectations of an organization are explicit in its policy, manuals, and even on signs posted in the workrooms and lunchrooms. So as we saw, so the behavior that organizations members internalize, however, it is critical to the success of the security efforts. Security can begin with the screening of the employees who will eventually have access to the computers, data, and the information to ensure that their interests are consistent with organization's interests and that they fully understand the importance of carrying through on security procedures. So policies regarding security must be written, distributed, and updated so that the employees are fully aware of the expectations and the responsibilities. So it is typical that the system analyst will first have contact with the behavioral aspects of the security. Some organizations have written rules or policies prohibiting employees from surfing and web during work hours, or even prohibiting web surfing altogether if company equipment is invoked. So other corporations use software locks to limit the access to the websites that are judged to be objectionable in the workplace, such as like gaming websites, gambling, or pornographic sites, etc. So part of the behavioral facets of the security is monitoring behavior at irregular intervals to ascertain that proper procedures are being followed and to correct any behaviors that may have eroded with time. So having the system log the number of unsuccessful sign-on attempts of the users is one way to monitor whether the unauthorized users are attempting to sign in onto the system. So periodic and frequent inventory of the equipment and software is desirable here. So in addition to that, unusually long sessions are a typical after hours access to the system should be examined. So the employees should clearly understand what is expected of them, what is prohibited, and the extent of their rights and responsibilities. So in the United States and European Union, employers are legally obligated to disclose all the monitoring that is being done or that is being contemplated. So they must supply the rationale behind it. So such disclosure should include the use of video cameras, software, and phone monitoring as well. So output generated by the system. हाँ एक मिनिट दार उघडते थांब जरा. So output generated by the system must be recognized for its potential to put the organization at the risk in some circumstances. So controls for output include displaying that can only be accessed via the password, the classification of the information, that is to whom it can be distributed and when, and secure storage of printed and stored document, no matter what their format is. So in some of the cases, the provision for shredding the documents that are classified or proprietary must be made. So shredding, pulverization services can be contracted from an outside firm that for a fee will shred magnetic media, printer cartridge, and the paper. So large corporation may shred upward of about 76,000 pounds of the output in a variety of media annually. Okay. Then special security considerations for e-commerce. So from the front of e-commerce, what type of a security is there required there? Okay. So it is well known that the intruders can violate the integrity of any computer system. So as an analyst, you need to take a series of precautions to protect the computer network from both the internal and external web security threats. So the number of actions and the products that can help us, and they are the virus protection software, definitely your antivirus kind of a software. Then email filtering products that provide the policy-based email and email attachment scanning and filtering to protect the companies against both incoming and outgoing emails. Incoming scanning protects against protects against the spam, unsolicited emails such as advertising attacks, and outgoing scanning protects against the loss of proprietary information. Then RL filtering products that provide the employees with access to the web by user, by groups of user, by computers, and by the time. So, or it can be by the day of the week also. Then firewall gateways and the virtual private networks that prevent the hackers from gaining backdoor access to the corporate network. So that's why the firewalls and the gateways are important. Then intrusion detection and anti-phishing softwares that continually monitor usage, provide the message and reports, and suggest the actions to be taken. Then vulnerability management products that access the potential risks in system and discover the report vulnerabilities. Some products correlate the vulnerabilities to make it easier to find the root cause of the security breaks. So risk cannot be eliminated, but this software can help to manage the risk by balancing the security risk to the financial bottom line. Then security technologies such as secure socket layer SSL for the authentication purpose. Then encryption technologies such as secure electronic translation SET. Then public key infrastructure and digital certificate obtained from a company such as VeriSign. Okay, you might have seen the symbol VeriSign somewhere. So use of digital certificates ensures that the reported sender of the message is really the company that sent the message. Fine. And then coming towards the privacy considerations for the e-commerce. So the other side of the security is definitely the privacy. So to make your website more and more secure, you must ask the user or the customer to give up some kind of a privacy. So as a website designer, you will recognize that the company for which you design exercises a great deal of the power over the data is its customers are providing. So the same tenets of the ethical and legal behavior apply to the website designs as to the design of any traditional application that accepts the personal data from the customers. The web, however, allows the data to be collected faster and allows different data to be collected, such as browsing habits of the customers. In general, information technology makes it possible to store more data in the data warehouse, and it processes that particular data and distribute the data more and more widely. So every company for which you design an e-commerce application should adopt a privacy policy. So some guidelines for the same are like start with a corporate policy or the privacy. Make sure it is prominently displayed on the website so that all the customers can access the policy whenever they complete with the transaction. Then only ask for information the application requires to complete the transaction at hand. For example, is it necessary to the transaction to ask a person's age or gender? No. Then make it optional for the customers to fill out the personal information on the website. Some customers do not mind receiving the targeted messages, but you should always give customers an opportunity to maintain the confidentiality of the personal data by not responding. So you you can skip those questions which are asking for the personal information from your customers. So use resources that allow you to obtain anonymous information about the classes of customers. So there are companies that offers audience uh, profiling technology and technology solutions for management of the advertisement, their targeting, and their delivery. So they do so by maintaining a dynamic database of customer profiles without linking them to the individuals, thereby respecting the customer's rights to the privacy. Then be ethical. That means avoid the latest uh, cheap trick that permits your clients to gather information about the customer in highly suspect ways. So the tricks such as screen scraping, that means capturing remotely what is on the customer screen, and email cookie grabbing are clear violations of privacy and may prove to be illegal as well. So a coordinated policy of security and privacy is essential. So it is essential to establish these policies and adhere to them when implementing an e-commerce application. So these are some of the security concerns. Then coming towards the next, that is the security concerns. In the same bit, we will see the points that are required to see the differences. So whatever the policies regard from the front of traditional IT that we have seen till now. So understand the policies and practices that differentiate the traditional network security from the cloud security, and how to keep your data safe. So for organization collecting more data every year, traditional IT systems and the server no longer provide cost-effective scalability. So most of the organizations are investigating or already using the cloud environment for the data storage. So here the points for the differences are given over here. So if we go through the network security, it focuses solely on protecting your networks. But in case of cloud, it provides an overall protection for the networks, for the servers, the containers, the apps that you are using, and many more. In traditional network security, it works on the data authorization system that needs access by the network administrator every time someone tries to access your company data. So it secures the network as well as protects and oversees the operations. But in case of cloud, it protects your data from unauthorized use or access, then distributed denial services, DDoS attacks, then hackers, malware, and other risks on these platforms. In case of a network security, it combines multiple layer security check barriers at every stage of information management, where each stage has its own policies and controls of the protection. So the information stored can be accessed by authorized users only. But in case of a cloud, it works on the encryption, identity access management, that is the IAM services, then web application firewalls that give overall protection to your data on any platform. So essentially, network security combines multiple layers of a defense at the perimeter or the center of the network. Each network security layer implements the policies and controls allowing the authorized access. So network security includes any activity designed to protect the usability and integrity of your network and data. It encompasses both the hardware and software technologies, targets a variety of threats, then stops the threats from entering or spreading on your network, and manages access to your network. So cloud security is the protection of data, applications, and infrastructure involved in the cloud computing. So whether it is public, private, or hybrid cloud, many aspects of the security for cloud environments are the same as for any on-premise IT architecture. So what is there that makes the cloud security different? So cloud environments, we access and store the data because the information does not live on your servers. So you need to use the tools called as the application programming interface. That means your APIs that let your devices and the servers communicate to the cloud servers. Then each API acts like a door that connects your system to others. But since you don't control the locks enabling who can go in and out, you also can't secure it appropriately. In other words, you are not just working with your cloud service provider, you are working with all the applications that connect your software network services and devices to your cloud. So ultimately, cloud security is the preferable choice for the organizations to keep their data safe. Unlike network security, cloud security provides the greater cost, control, and safety benefits. So to capitalize on enhanced security options, organizations must partner with the right cloud service provider to mitigate the cloud security threats. Okay, so these are the points which are covering the traditional IT concerns, we can say. Okay. So the challenges in case of cloud computing in terms of application security, server security, and network security, that part we will cover in our next lecture. So for today, I will stop over here, and for the remaining 1 hour, I will put the class test number 3, which is based on the 3rd unit. Okay. So we will stop here. You can put your attendance in the chat window, and you can leave within just 15-20 minutes. I will put the link for the class test. Okay. Thank you for now. Other participants, please put your attendance and leave so that I can send the link for the class test.